Lake Whitney. Impounded in 1951 for flood control on the Brazos River, this 23,000-acre reservoir is host to the 2021 Texas Team Trail Championship.
This is a clear water lake. It's very deep. The bass relate to bait, no doubt about it.
It's late fall, but you'd never know it. For the most part, fish are still in their summer pattern, and while locating them is a challenge, staying on top of them when you do is even harder.
Bites are few and far between for us.
A lot of the shad are moving. There's a lot of shad out in the main lake, a lot of stripers here, and I think a lot of those bass will just get with those schools of stripers and get off the bank and get out there and swim around.
They're here for 1 hour, they're gone the next. And I would even go to the extreme of saying they're there for 5 seconds and then they're gone. And it's just a timing deal.
We're fishing for 5 bites, 5 keepers in the boat.
It's gonna be a fun one.
Whitney's got them, if you can find them. And for those that do, there's more than $120,000 on the line, including a Ranger Mercury package for first and second place. We're also down to the wire on the Lucas Oil and Marine Team of the Year. Welcome to the last stop of the season. This is the Texas Team Trail Championship, presented by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. It's late October, and the first cold front of the season pushed through last week, giving some relief to the Texas heat. But water temps are still in the 70s across the lake. This morning it's 74 at lunch, and after a week of calm conditions, we're expecting winds near 20 for much of the day.
Day one, practice was pretty tough. We fished a couple days, the last 2 days, and very few fish. So I don't know, maybe we're just gonna have to do something different today, just go fishing, see what happens.
I don't know, they're talking about it getting pretty windy this weekend, so that'll make the lake fish a little smaller, but what we've seen is typical fall fishing. The fish are all spread out all over. There's some shallow, some deep, baits everywhere, so it's just gonna be whoever gets on that right wad of them.
Day one, tell me about it. Our plan is to get luckier than everybody else. It's been pretty hard.
This event was previously scheduled for June, but more than 25 inches of heavy rain flooded the region in May, and the Corps of Engineers closed the lake for safety concerns. Less than 4 months ago, the whole area around Loafers Park was underwater. Getting down to business, we've got 88 teams qualified to fish this week for a total purse worth better than $120,000, including a Mercury-powered Ranger Z519 for the champs and a Z518 for second. And as always, there's a whole host of sponsor contingency money available, and it's worth checking out. For the details, TexasTeamTrail.com.
There really isn't a better trail out there in Texas as far as contingency money, down the board pay. I mean, a lot of tournaments you get in, you have to win to make any money here. You know, you just have a good showing and you're gonna make some money.
It's a great event. Payback is some of the best, and that's kind of why I fish it, because of the payback.
I've never fished no big tournaments like this. First time I ever done it.
Yeah, this is our first go around fishing a tournament series or fishing any tournaments really. So we decided this year we was going to compete and see how we can do, and to finish, you know, on top would really be a confidence booster and be a good way to start out our tournament fishing series.
Imhoff and London came into this event 5th in the Lucas Oil and Marine Team of the Year standings, but the leaders had a conflict this week and couldn't make the event, automatically moving everybody up 1 spot in the standings. The race to the championship in the Lucas Oil and Marine Team of the Year was a long one, and with the weather conditions the trail faced this season, it was even more difficult. After the February freeze canceled the first event on Rayburn in February, the Texas Team Trail kicked off the season in March on Lake Amistad. Facing extremely low water, anglers had their work cut out. Fishing in March, Amistad was unseasonably tough, and weights were down.
Good little guy.
Reigning Team of the Year, Brian Shook and Danny Isles were out of their comfort zone, and it showed. They finished the week in 74th with a limit for 923. Pro bass legend and Del Rio transplant Denny Brower and Shane Moore put their skills to the test, picking up a 3rd place finish.
It was a different type of day, but it was a fun day to be out on Amistad. The weather was beautiful.
Dylan and Danny Thompson sacked up 5 for 16.52 in second. And Mike Perkins and Stan Gerzeni checked off their first win of the season, weighing 23.46, earning $42,000 in the process. The next stop of the season were back-to-back events on Rayburn in early May. With the lake 3 feet above pool, fish were scattered across thousands of acres of newly flooded brush and were hard to come by.
You know, lake's fishing tough. We've basically come up 2 foot in the last week and a whole lot of new water here.
It's got everything messed up, be honest.
At the end of the day, Castledine and Bonds notched up 28th place with 5 for 13.41. Shook and Isles picked up 7th with 16.74. Lance Robelia and Cody Pratka finished just ahead in 6th with 16.78. And at the top of the leaderboard, Tommy Hill and Bubba Frazier locked up their first win on the tour, earning $36,000. Checking the Lucas Oil and Marine Team of the Year, 2 events in, and Robelia and Pratka have a slim advantage. Meanwhile, reigning Team of the Year Brian Shook and Danny Isles are back inside the top 10. Launching the final qualifying event of the season, we've got the same conditions with 217 teams battling it out for $102,000 and those final qualifying spots for the upcoming championship. The high water made things tough, but the TXTT anglers managed to get theirs. Heading to the scales, Shook and Isles locked up another top 10 with 16.01. Castledine and Bonds finished 8th with 16.02. Imhoff and London were 5th with 18.81, and it was Josh Bensoma and Matt McArdle who, after a tough week, broke the 20-pound barrier with a limit for 20.45, earning them the win and a $36,000 prize package. Checking the Team of the Year going into the championship, Castledine and Bonds are on top, with Robelia and Pratka 8 points behind. But a conflict of events has Castledine fishing on Grand Lake this weekend, leaving Lance Robelia and Cody Pratka to take over the lead.
Be a big deal to win Angler of the Year. I've won it in smaller circuits, but to fish with these caliber of guys, it would be great.
And with that, the stage is set. There are 2 days left in the season and $120,000 on the line. Day 1 championship coverage is next. The Texas Team Trail is brought to you by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Your adventure starts here. Ranger Boats, still building legends one at a time. And by Lucas Oil and High Performance Marine Products. Welcome back. We're on Lake Whitney. We launched 88 teams this morning from Loafers Park. It's late October. The forecast is calling for highs near 90 with winds blowing 20. Getting right into Day 1 championship coverage. This is Lance Robelia and Cody Pratka. They launched this morning boat number 1 and on top of the standings in the Lucas Oil and Marine Team of the Year points race.
Brush pile underneath the boat.
Fishing fast. They're starting on windy points.
Man, we're just going to start off early. Probably go after some wind-blowing points and throw some moving baits and do a little Carolina rigging.
We've probably got 20, 25 spots to hit today that we can. Hopefully we don't have to hit them all, and see if we can catch a decent bag. Yeah, throw a little top water and fish some stuff, because I think right now you need a moving bait or something.
Right.
Yeah, we're just trying to make something happen early. We really hadn't been on anything early, so we're just trying to, if we catch one or something before the sun gets up, we're doing real good.
Moving off the main lake, this is Mike Perkins and Stan Gerzeni. Pitching reaction baits into boat stalls. Stan gets the first bite of the day.
Good
one.
Net. Here's a keeper anyway. One down.
That's a good fish now. There we go, guys. So
Good
we're
one,
after.
anyway. We a combined total of maybe 3 or 4 days in my life on this lake, so we're just going fishing. We threw some large swim baits and had some really quality fish follow it, so that was kind of a good sign. We're gonna go for hero or zero, go for broke. I'm gonna throw those. He's got a few baits he caught some fish on, so we're gonna mix it up a little bit and see what happens.
Same cove, 30 minutes later.
Left side, left side.
Easy, he's going. It'll work. A little smaller, but we'll take it.
We will take it. All right, he's got all kinds of hooks in him. Pace isn't bad, we'll take that. 9 o'clock. Do this a lot of hours to get 3 more keepers, so that is what we're after.
Back on Lucas Oil and Marine Team of the Year leaders Lance Robelia and Cody Pratka. Nearing mid-morning, and this is their first bite of the day.
Something.
I don't think he can keep.
Need a little sunlight. Well, we got one in the box, dragging on a little sandy flat. The sun finally came out. Fixing to go hit a couple stumps, check them on the way out, and then go see if we can't catch some more. Different spot.
Moving on, if you've never visited, Lake Whitney is one of the more scenic lakes in Texas. The limestone outcroppings offer a rugged contrast to the oak and cedar-lined hills. This is Will Imhoff and Shane London.
Yes, so far we've run back into this creek. We got a couple bites here in practice. What few bites we did get, and we got 3 keepers in the box so far, but it's pretty slow. We're pretty much having to fish as slow and painful as it is, but we're just dragging and barely moving some soft plastics around. That's the only way we've gotten bit so far.
Fishing their first year on the trail, they launched this morning 4th in the Team of the Year standings. Making the championship in this crowd is one thing, but qualifying 4th in the Team of the Year points race in their first season?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a fun season. Fished Amstead first event of the year. Did pretty good for our first big tournament. I mean, I've never really fished anything big. We ended up 7th in that one. Then we ended up going to Rayburn. We kind of stumped our toe a little bit in Rayburn on the first day. We caught 5 fish, but we just could not catch any kind of size. What hurt us pretty bad. Second day, we ended up 5th. That day, which really, it bumped us way up, did real well. Been lucky, knock on wood, we fished pretty clean all year.
Hey, if you've ever considered giving it a go in the Premier Team Tournament Trail, here's the schedule for 2022. We'd love to see you. Check the details at TexasTeamTrail.com. You're watching the Texas Team Trail, presented by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. This segment is also brought to you by NITRO Boats, pro-level performance. GARMIN Electronics, fight your fish, not your fish finder. Mercury Marine Outboards, go boldly. And by AFTCO, any fish, any water. Coming up, championship coverage continues from Lake Whitney, right here on the Texas Team Trail. Welcome back. You're watching Day 1 championship coverage from Lake Whitney on the Brazos River. It's early fall, but fishing like summer. Water temps are in the mid-70s, and fish are scattered. Stan Gerseni and Mike Perkins picked up a couple of nice ones early, and Lucas Oil and Marine Team of the Year leaders Lance Robelia and Cody Pratka got some action as well.
I don't think he can keep. Not what we're looking for, but it's a start. You gotta start somewhere. We wasn't expecting all this overcast conditions, so right now our fish ain't on the wood, so we're fixing to go run and try to do some different stuff.
Getting back to championship coverage, we'll check in on Scott DeGrant and Shane Cotter. Running the rocky shoreline along the Katy Bridge, they just caught their first and are hoping to capitalize on the momentum.
It's been a little slow fishing today. We've just caught our first keeper about 11 a.m. and we're cranking the shallow riprap with some square bills today. We had a decent practice and caught a lot of fish shallow on the square bill, but today they seem to change a little bit with this cloud cover, so we're going to have to learn to adjust and try to figure out where they've gone or what they're eating. Maybe they moved out a little bit deeper, but we're about to make a jump over to Cedron here in just a second to see if we could catch some fish we located there in practice. So that's about it for now.
Moving to the opposite side of the bridge, Colt Ferris and Brian Solis are keying in on the pilings by pitching into the current breaks. They're weeding through a variety of species, but putting fish in the live well.
I think it's a keeper, Elias. There we go. There we go. Thank you, thank you. I think he's 14. I really didn't plan on being happy about little ones today, but hey, you take what you can get sometimes.
Whitney's set up a little different with the lake kind of turning over. 2 good days of practice. Pretty much there's gonna be a whole bunch of boats all in the same area. So you're pretty much gonna have to find spots that people are not to be able to catch your fish early. Kind of shuts off a little around 10 o'clock, so anything after that you're gonna have to do drop shot or maybe something else to catch your fish.
3, 4. You know, as big as this lake is, it fishes so small. There's gonna be boats on top of each other tomorrow and a lot of people sharing fish. So I think that's gonna drive weights down a little bit, but obviously these guys are the best in Texas, so they're still gonna be massive weights to win. I think it's a striper, but man, he's angry. Woo! Now, if that was a bass, I'd be real happy. Man, that's about the biggest. Look how skinny it is, though. That's the biggest striper I've ever caught here. But look how skinny. I mean, that is crazy. I mean, he swallowed it, too. I mean, he is hungry. Look how far that crankbait is down his mouth. That's crazy.
While Colt has his hands full, Brian pitches into the seam and sets the hook.
Oh, that's a bass. Keep it down, don't let it jump. Get it here, it's not a giant, it's a keeper.
Bring him right to you.
Big time, I'm right here, I'm ready. There we go, baby, there's our limit. That's what I'm talking about. Got 5, baby. Oh, yep, we're good. There you go. Get him in there. All right, that gives us a limit. Maybe keep us in it a little bit, get a good check. You know, tomorrow I plan on having a, you know, leaning on them and having a big day anyways. So, you know, you can't give up spots. You have to have 5 if you ever want to do good. So, you give them spots, these guys are going to beat you. Right now, I got a mess in the boat. We caught that fish while we had a striper. There's blood everywhere, so we'll get it. It's crazy. I mean, if you don't love this, I don't know what'll get you excited.
Get ready. Registration is open for the 2022 season. Check TexasTeamTrail.com for schedules. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram. The Texas Team Trail, presented by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's, is also brought to you by TH Marine, from transom to trolling motor. Triton BOATS, the driving force of performance fishing. And by SUNLINE, the strength to guarantee confidence. Coming up, the Texas Team Trail Championship heads to the Day 1 weigh-in. Stay close. Welcome back to Loafers Park on Lake Whitney. Day 1 championship competition is in the books, and it's time to head to the scales. Pre-tournament, the consensus was 18 to 20 pounds per day for the win. And seeing fish in the big bass category, those estimates don't seem too far off. Checking our featured anglers, Colt Ferris and Brian Salas finished out Day 1 with a limit. Weighing 890, they'll launch tomorrow in 33rd. Will Imhoff and Shane London closed out the day in 25th. Reigning Lucas Oil and Marine Team of the Year, Brian Shook and Danny Isles are 3rd in this season's standings, and they wrapped up Day 1 in 14th with 1341. Checking the top 5 in Team of the Year, here's how they finished Day 1. And based on the points, this is the unofficial standings going into the final day.
Mike Perkins and Stan Gerzini.
Heading to the scales, Mike Perkins and Stan Gerzini got it done. Weighing just 4 fish, they'll start the morning in 4th with 17-16.
Congratulations.
It's an awesome lake, got a lot of big fish.
And we only had 4 today, so that could have used another 2-pounder. So
yeah.
This is Michael Johnson and Byron Albrecht. We've got a 5 bass limit. Yes, sir. Total weight 1956. That's going to move you all the way up to 3rd place.
I started out early on some shallow water stuff. He started out the day pretty good on a couple big fish, and then we just went to running milk runs throughout the lake that we always do. Finished out the limit.
Russell Lee and Garrett Whitley sacked up 5 for 20-33 in 2nd place.
Had 6 keeper bites, lost one of them, put the other 5 in the boat.
All right, we got a sack here. Brent Stafford, Shane Moore, 5 alive. We're looking for
And it was Brett Stafford and Shane Moore pushing the scales to 21.05 for the lead.
21.05, new leader.
Just decided going in we're going to go for broke and fish for the fish that we felt like would be the bigger fish, and it worked out today. Just if the wind doesn't kill us tomorrow, I think we can catch a few.
Here's a look at the top 10 on the Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's leaderboard. Join us next week when we launch Day 2 of the 2021 Texas Team Trail Championship presented by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's from Lake Whitney. There's more than $120,000 on the line, including 2 Ranger Mercury packages. We'll also wrap up the race for the Lucas Oil and Marine Team of the Year. You don't want to miss it. For schedules, registration, and sponsor contingency information, please look us up at TexasTeamTrail.com. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. The Texas Team Trail presented by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's is a joint venture between Outdoor Teamworks and Careco TV.